Let's make a big, beautiful garden. Let me show you how. You can go big with big equipment, or you can use no equipment and just do manual labor. Your choice. Same great results can be achieved. And I'm gonna show you everything from the ground up. So for me, it was a worthwhile investment to hire somebody to do the digging. You do have to call before you dig. You don't want to hit any gas lines or anything electrical underground. You don't require to spend a lot of money growing a garden, though. You can easily dig off your sod and then use a rototiller or dig by hand to create the very same effect. We created trenches and took all of the soil from those areas that we were going to have paths and put it on top of the areas that we were going to grow. Why have terrific dirt under your feet if you can have it higher up where you can reach things better, where you can have a nice mounded garden? Extra soil means extra long carrots, extra long root vegetables, and it certainly is a lot easier on your back. And all you have to do is rake off the top part after you have dug out your trenches, flatten it. Don't make the sides so steep that the soil falls over. It creates a raised garden without the need to use lumber or anything to make boxes. It can be easily changed year after year. You can cover these trenches with straw or even throw your compost into the areas and cover it with leaves. As you walk over top of these areas, it'll end up squishing your compost down, and then in the spring or in the fall, whenever you need your compost, it is right beside the beds where you can just dig out some, put it on top of your beds, and it is a wonderful method of composting. I found it to be very effective. The photo album system. So we have the pouches inside, and I can lay out all of my seeds so that I can find things really easily. I have to point out a few of the favorites. This radish is called Easter egg. Colors are amazing and children absolutely love them. This is a watermelon radish. It's huge and tastes a lot different than a traditional radish. I haven't had much luck in growing them, but I know other people that have. I continue to try. This is more of what it looks like. Very interesting. Now for my beet selection, I really do like the cylinder beets. They're a little longer. They tend to be a little bit more tender. As for lettuce, I'm a little bit crazy. I love so many different kinds. I love butter crunch. I also love these gourmet mixes because you can just get so many different kinds of seeds in one package. So they're really lovely for a nice spring crop. You want to make sure you plant them super early. People tell me, oh, it's too early. You have to wait until the soil warms. Lettuce does not want it to be warm. It'll bolt. So you want to get it in really early. And I tried to collect all kinds, the iceberg. I have a lot of different kinds of lettuces. Next is the carrots. And carrots are so great for overwinter storage in the refrigerator. And this is my favorite. And it is a heirloom variety. Tenderloin Imperator.
Ooh, lovely.
And I tell you, they are long.
Make nice
They're
food.
just like a nice store-bought, sweet, yummy, terrific tasting carrot. A lot of people don't know you can leave some carrots in over the winter, and in the spring you can harvest them when the ground unfreezes, and they are so sweet, so amazing, such a treat.
Fresh.
Something that I just learned about onions is that when you buy the onion sets, they are in the second year of their growth, and therefore they put a lot of their power into growing a stalk. So I have usually grown those kind and have had that very issue. They go to seed, never get very big. Apparently, if you do them from seed, you will get far bigger onions. So I'm trying it this year. I've got some in the greenhouse. Little Marvel peas. You don't need to stake them, and you can put a whole bunch of them in a bed really close together, about an inch apart, and they will cling to each other and provide you with lots and lots of yummy peas. I'm a pea fan. I love peas. None of them make it into the house. I eat them all. These are sugar snap peas. Now, a lot of people think that if you have sugar snap peas, that you have to harvest them really young when they're really thin. You don't need to. You can let them become big, and they're so sweet. If you have like some of the heavier things that don't fit in the album very well, if you choose that method, beans, they are heavy and tend to break it or bulk it up too much. So I've got my beans in a separate bag. Anything that I'm getting ready to plant, I put in another bag. Just makes it easier to find things. And, you know, the seeds are what you need before you can plant a garden. So you got to choose the right ones for your area. And my area might be different than yours because I live in British Columbia. It's a cooler weather climate here. But we still grow things from seed in greenhouses and get them ready and then plant them out, like cucumbers. I'm going to do English cucumbers this year. And I don't plant everything in one spot necessarily. There's interplanting being done and that sort of thing. Make sure that you always put some flowers in your vegetable garden. A lot of people don't. They segregate them. It's like, no, you must go over there and you must go over there. I really think that it is nice when they're intertwined. It doesn't look like a vegetable garden then, and it is far more pleasant to work in. Not only that, but you get pollinators that will come for the flowers, help to pollinate the other things in your garden like tomatoes, and it just makes it such a pretty picture. I think that it makes it so that you aren't feeling like it's just vegetables. Vegetables are beautiful too, but I think that you need to put a whole bunch of flowers in there.
Tomato plant that Grandma did not plant. She told me that. And I don't know why there's a random tomato. I think it's because like there's all of the compost.
That's very smart. Companion planting. Just look up some of the companion plants that go well together. You know, there's been a few times where it's like, oh, those peas didn't do good. And then I, realized that, oh, onions and peas don't necessarily go together great. And there are certain crops that will help benefit each other and certain crops that do not like to grow next to each other. So just maybe take a look before you plan out what you're going to put. and just make sure that they're going to be friends in the garden. Once your garden is planted, you just have to love it. That's all you have to do. You need to go out and water it. Once you touch the earth, it comes alive. So, you know, like for instance, perennials. I feel like my perennials kind of stay stagnant and in purgatory in the springtime until I go and touch them. I just did this a couple days ago. I went and I broke off the stems that were old. I mixed the soil just a little bit around them. And it's like they know they're being loved. And they're like, oh, it's time. And, you know, if you love your plants, if you go out and you watch for those little seedlings, they know. They're going to want to perform for you. They're going to want to come up and just say hello. And they're going to want to do the very best for you. Make sure you thin things as needed. And, you know, don't be afraid of the garden. It's a wonderful, wonderful way of learning. It's maybe not going to be perfect immediately. My first garden certainly weren't, but every year has gotten easier and easier. You get instincts after a while. You will master the yard. There's always going to be hiccups. Mother Nature is never, ever completely predictable. She will give you wrath like no tomorrow. There'll be years where there'll be diseases, or there might be really poor weather, hot weather, cold weather, too much rain, not enough rain. And, you know, you learn to adapt, and you learn that maybe not every crop is going to be perfect every year, but that you're going to have some sort of crop that is going to be just so tasty and amazing. I think it's the promise and the hope that a garden gives that will make you just totally addicted. Thank you so much for watching. Your garden is an extension of you, and just put your creativity, your flair on it, and you'll make a beautiful space. For years to come, you'll be able to go back and replant and start your cycles over and over and enjoy lovely, beautiful food, pretty flowers, and all of the wonderful compliments from neighbors and friends, family, who enjoy the beauty of a garden. I think that it's a wonderful way to bring nature to your home and to be able to go out and enjoy wonderful, tasty food. Pick a pea and eat for me. Thank you, and have a really wonderful growing season.